Let's get straight to it. This is the kind of thing that makes you think you're about to drift off peacefully, and then your body hits the panic button. Number 10. The sudden jolt right as you're falling asleep is also called a hypnic jerk. You've just melted into the bed, your eyelids are heavy, your last thought goes dark, and then your whole body jerks like a fire alarm. Your muscles are relaxing, your heart rate is cooling off, but your brain misreads that as free fall. It thinks you're slipping off an edge, so it sends an emergency command to your arms and legs and yanks you awake. A lot of people even get a quick jump cut in their mind, like slipping on a stair or dropping into empty space, then wake up hugging the blanket like they just escaped a close call. A common theory is that this is leftover wiring from when our ancestors slept in trees. You're on a soft mattress, but your brain is still running the ancient safety software that's constantly worried you'll fall off an imaginary branch. The more exhausted you are, the more stressed you are, and the later you drink coffee, the more sensitive that alarm system gets, and the more likely it is to jolt you awake right when you finally find the perfect position. The good news is it's common and usually harmless. The slightly bad news is it shows up exactly when you need quiet the most. Number 9. Phantom phone vibrations are known as phantom vibration syndrome. You're walking along like normal when you suddenly feel your pocket buzz. Your heart jumps, your hand dives in like you just got an urgent message. But the screen is dead, no call, no notification, no text, nothing. What buzzed wasn't your phone. It was your brain adding special effects. After thousands of real vibrations, your brain turns into an ultra-sensitive notification detector. All it takes is fabric, brushing your skin, a strap, tapping your hip, a tiny muscle twitch, or a breeze passing by your brain instantly translates it as phone vibrating, and you react automatically. The more you worry about missing a message, the harder your brain works to manufacture fake vibrations, like a bored switchboard operator ringing a bell just to stay awake. Switching your phone to a different pocket doesn't really save you. Your brain just updates the new address and keeps sending phantom buzzes to that exact spot. Some people even feel vibrations in places they've never carried their phone, like the nervous system decided to open a new branch office. Bottom line, your phone isn't haunting you. Your habit has basically retrained your body. Number 8. Seeing faces where there aren't any is called pareidolia. Your brain can look at an electrical outlet and see a face staring back. Two slots become eyes, the other hole becomes a mouth, and suddenly the wall has an attitude. You look at the front of a car and the headlights turn into eyes, the grille turns into teeth, and the car looks like it's judging you, so you catch yourself thinking, wait, is it frowning? This isn't anything supernatural. It's your brain's face recognition system working overtime. Your brain is built to hunt patterns, especially faces, because recognizing friend versus threat early could save your life. The catch is that it would rather be wrong than miss something real. A smear of mold, 2 buttons, 3 burnt spots on toast. Your brain connects the dots and declares it found a character. When you're tired or stressed, it cranks up the sensitivity and turns a shirt draped on a chair into a stranger in the dark, like a horror movie director with a flashlight scaring themselves on purpose. The good news is, you're normal, you just have elite face radar. The bad news is that radar sees faces everywhere, including places you're trying very hard to pretend you're not looking. Number 7. A boom in your head right as you're falling asleep called exploding head syndrome. You put your head on the pillow, your eyes are about to close, your brain is pulling the curtain down, and then suddenly, boom! Not a sound in the room, but a fake explosion right inside your skull, like fireworks, a metal door slamming, or someone dropping a pot on the floor. You bolt upright, look around, listen, check the locks, only to realize the room is still calm, like it never did anything wrong. Your brain just played sound designer and accidentally cranked the volume up to stadium level. This tends to happen right at the channel switch between being awake and being asleep. Your brain is powering down sensory signals, rerouting the wiring, and sometimes a neural circuit shuts a little too hard, creating an auditory hallucination, sometimes even with a flash of light in your eyes. The name sounds terrifying, but it's usually painless and not damaging. It mostly just makes you wide awake like you chugged 3 coffees. Lack of sleep, stress, and an irregular schedule make it more likely to visit. You think you've been asleep for a few seconds, then your brain runs a system siren test at the exact moment you need silence most. Number 6. Hallucinations as you're just drifting off are called hypnagogic hallucinations. You close your eyes and you can still hear the fan, but your brain starts mixing reality like a bartender nodding off mid-shift. A shadow flickers by the doorway, a few points of light skid across the ceiling, or you hear someone say your name so clearly you almost turn to ask what they just said. You snap your eyes open and the room is normal again, like your brain accidentally played the wrong pre-roll ad before the movie and quickly shut it off. This is the handoff between waking and sleeping. Outside sensory input is getting turned down while the image and memory centers have quietly powered up. With two signal sources overlapping your brain, turns the AC hum into footsteps, turns a hanging shirt into a person, and turns silence into a line of dialogue that makes your skin crawl. A lot of people also get that dropping feeling like stepping off an invisible stair. Your heart kicks once and you're instantly fully awake. Sleep deprivation, stress, and a messy sleep schedule make it happen more often. It's usually harmless, but it's enough to remind you that your brain can stage a whole scene even when all you want to do is power down and sleep. Number 5. Sleep paralysis. You wake up eyes open. You can hear the fan. You know you're in bed, but your body is locked, like someone hit pause. Your arms won't move. Your legs won't move. Even your throat refuses to cooperate. You try to scream, and all you can manage is a tiny, weak breath, like your battery's at 1%. And then the fun part starts. Your brain decides to bundle in a horror movie add-on. You see a dark figure in the corner, or you feel like someone standing next to the bed staring straight at you. Your chest feels heavy like a chunky cat parked there guarding your sleep. Some people even feel their feet being pulled or their throat being squeezed when in reality you're just lying there perfectly still like a statue. The usual explanation is that you wake up while your brain is still keeping your muscles locked from REM sleep, so you don't act out your dreams. Your mind is online, but your body is still in airplane mode. The more sleep-deprived you are, the more stressed you are, and the more off-schedule your sleep gets, the more likely it is to happen. The good news is it's usually harmless and fades within a few seconds. The bad news is that those few seconds are more than enough to make you believe your bedroom just opened a doorway to somewhere else. Number 4. Eyelash mites. You wash your face, do your skincare, change your sheets and pillowcases, then turn off the lights feeling like you just locked down your entire face. But right along your lash line, there's a tiny neighborhood gearing up for the night shift. When you close your eyes, microscopic demodex mites crawl out of your eyelash follicles like residents stepping outside after curfew. They eat oil and dead skin, then move from lash to lash looking for a mate, basically turning your eyelids into a pedestrian street you never approved. You can't see them because they're so small. Even a magnifying glass has to work overtime, but sometimes you'll feel itching, burning, or notice your lash line getting a little red, especially when they're packed in there like rush hour. The most annoying part is that many of them hold their waste inside until they die, then break down right in the follicle, like cleaning up by disappearing on the spot and leaving your immune system to deal with the mess. So when you turn off the lights and think everything's settled, someone's switching the lights on at the edge of your eye. You go to sleep, they go out, and they don't pay a dime. Number 3. A parasite that messes with behavior, Toxoplasma gondii. You bend down, scoop the cat litter, tie up the bag, done. But backstage, there's a tiny organism dreaming about getting its hands on your fear response. Toxoplasma can spread through cat feces and undercooked meat, then hang out in the body for a long time. In mice, it has a famous trick. It reduces the fear of cat odor so the mouse walks straight into the most dangerous place like it's hypnotized. In humans, some research suggests its presence may be associated with changes in risk-taking and responses to danger, plus some statistical links to accidents or mood issues in areas with higher infection rates, but it's not like everyone who has it gets controlled like a movie. The creepy part is that it can form tiny cysts in tissue and lie low like it's in hibernation mode. You're still you, just with your operating system occasionally running a weird background process. And every time your cat steps out of the litter box and then comes back to rub its head on your leg, you're standing pretty close to the opening scene of that story. Number 2. Jamais vu, when the familiar suddenly feels unfamiliar. You're standing at the mirror, brushing your teeth, looking straight at your own face, and for a second your brain whispers, "Who is that?" You glance at someone you love. The face is the same as always, the voice is the right voice, but the feeling of familiarity disappears like someone yanked the plug. The scariest part isn't that they changed, it's that your brain stops recognizing what should be obvious. Jamais vu can happen when your recognition system gets overloaded or falls out of sync, especially when you're sleep-deprived, stressed, or repeating something too much. Write the same word a few dozen times, and suddenly it turns into meaningless scribbles. Play a familiar musical passage, and your hands can feel like they don't belong to you. Your brain isn't broken, it's more like a sync error between the seeing part and the "this is familiar" label, like opening a folder you've used 1,000 times, and your computer says it can't identify it. The feeling is usually brief, but it's long enough to make you doubt reality. And when it passes, you don't get a prize, just one cold takeaway. Sometimes your brain only has to hit refresh, and the whole world looks like it was just reinstalled. Number 1. The Capgras delusion. You walk into the kitchen, your mom is standing there, same voice, same habits, but your brain suddenly declares she's an imposter. Not because she changed, but because the feeling of closeness vanishes like somebody pulled a cable. You recognize the face perfectly, but inside there's no familiar ring to it. Your brain hates that gap, so it writes a story where the original was replaced with a copy. A common explanation is that two systems in the brain aren't working together. One recognizes faces, the other generates the feeling of familiarity and safety. When that connection glitches, you see the right person but feel like it's the wrong person, and your brain starts reasoning like an internal detective who needs a solid report. It begins collecting tiny details as evidence. Today she smiled a little differently, evidence. She changed her hair, evidence. This is rare and can be associated with brain injury, dementia, or psychiatric disorders. The frightening part is how it turns a familiar home into a crime scene and turns family into an identity test nobody signed up for.